I think a lot of great music comes from something that you did by accident. And if it excites you, then you go with it. My name's Carlos Sid, born and raised here in New York, and I make dance music. I don't come from a musical family. My dad has a restaurant and catering hall in Bayside in Queens. Every weekend he would have this one DJ who would come in and play all the private parties. So that's where my fascination with DJing started. I went to college and I asked my older brother what I should do, and he's like, you should do accounting. And I was like, that sounds like a great idea. And I did it. I did 4 years, I got a degree in accounting, but while I was doing that, I was, still DJing, trying to learn how to produce music. Right after I graduated college, I was DJing like some little basement lounge in the city, and I ran into this kid who I went to high school with. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, well, I'm trying to produce and DJing. He said, well, why don't you come to my dad's studio? So his dad is Richie Kanata, who is Billy Joel's original sax player. A couple of days later I went and he's like, you want an internship? I was like, that sounds great. He said, look, I need you here. There's a session this night, and that night session, I had no idea, but it was a shanty. He said, don't say, you do not speak, and just listen, and if they ask you any opinions, you just, tell them you love it. And I was like, okay, well, I didn't know who was coming in, and when it was a shanty, I was like, okay, that'll be easy, like, shanty's amazing. That was my first ever session. The first step for me when remixing, is it something that I think I can bring something to? I think what's been my strength is taking something that might not be normally what DJs can play or what I could play in my sets, and making a version that's going to translate to clubs and open that song up to a whole different audience. Cedric Gervais, he found me very early on. They didn't know what I can really do as a producer, and he believed in me. I think when we did that remix, we didn't think much of it, to be honest. We knew what we wanted to have it sound like and make it a version that he could play in his sets that a lot of people would play, and it just kept growing. It was really incredible to see. I mess with things that people wouldn't normally look for, a lot of little sequencers that you can randomize and just come up with weird patterns or bass lines that you wouldn't normally think of. I think about this all the time, right? You want to make something that stands out. So that's it. Stand out can be a vocal, it can be a sound, specific sound, it can be a general style of production that no one's ever heard before. It could be just an emotional chord progression or melody. It could be numerous things, but that I think is the most important thing.